How you guys doing? Let's tell you who to start and sit for Week 9 of the fantasy football season alongside Dave Richard and Jamie Eisenberg. I am Ryan Bass. We start with quarterbacks. A surprise this week start for you. Thumbs up on Jameis Winston.
I like Jameis Winston this week. Look, you got to buy into what he's been doing. 20 or more fantasy points each of the last 2 games. He's got a Giants defense that, yes, they may be getting some guys back, but I don't think it's going to impact what Winston does. He may get Austin Seferian-Jenkins back, which I think negates what the Giants may throw at him. He's been in control of this offense. No interceptions in 3 straight games. He's running the ball a little bit. Scored a rushing touchdown last week. I think he's got another 20-plus point game in him this week. I like him.
No picks in 3 straight games. Andrew Luck had 3 picks last week. We're sitting him again.
Yeah, I would be nervous using Andrew Luck. Playing on a short week against the Denver Broncos, and this defense is for real. They just held Aaron Rodgers to under 100 passing yards. T.Y. Hilton's banged up. Luck is banged up on top of it all. There's no good reason to feel good about starting Andrew Luck this week. Winston's somebody you could start over him. Ryan Fitzpatrick is another guy. Jay Cutler is another one. Derek Carr. The list goes on. You don't have to start Andrew Luck in Week 9.
Got some good vibes this week from LeGarrette Blount at running back?
I think there's some great vibes on Blount. You look at the matchup against Washington, and this is a Redskins defense that is terrible against the run, especially of late. They're allowing 5.6 yards per carry to opposing running backs in their last 3 games. Blount's going to get a lot of work. The Patriots are going to put up a lot of points. Blount's a great start this week.
Nightmare matchup this week for TJ Yeldon. He gets the best defense against the rush in the National Football League.
Yeah, the Jets, I think, will bounce back from what we saw last week from an entire defensive perspective. And Yeldon, look, he's got 1 rushing touchdown on the season. I don't think he's going to score this week. He's good when they're playing with a lead or in a competitive game, and that may happen. I don't think he's a complete sit outright. Depends on what your roster looks like. He could be a flex for you because he's still going to get a lot of work, and a running back right now getting a lot of work is a pretty good thing. But it's going to be tough for him. So 3 straight games for him of double digits in fantasy points. It ends right now.
A start at wide receiver. Is this the week that Dez returns to form?
I think so. Just turned 27 on Wednesday. Somebody once told me that 27 is your prime. I think you look at what Dez Bryant should do against this defense. He's owned the Eagles, and this should be one of those weeks where he plays well. I know concern about quarterback, concern about him. He should be fine, gets away from Richard Sherman. Go back to week 2. Terrence Williams and Brandon Whedon connected for a touchdown against his defense. I think Matt Castle and Dez Bryant's a better combination.
So we're starting Dez. Who we sitting?
I would sit James Jones, and I know that that's not going to be a popular pick because this was one of the waiver wire darlings, but I don't like his matchup against Carolina. They've got great cornerbacks that play on the outside. That's where Jones lines up, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a lot of success there. He's a touchdown-dependent wide receiver. The Panthers don't allow a lot of touchdowns to wide receivers. They have been very, very good. Even on a short week, I would expect them to do a nice job containing James Jones.
Tight end, Benjamin Watson. Boy, has he been on fire the last couple of weeks.
And Drew Brees was really on fire in Week 8. It was great to see him come back and play well. And obviously, Watson's a big part of that. And I think he's a constant now in this New Orleans offense. He's not going to go away. It's been 4 straight weeks where we've seen him really involved. Drew Brees has taken a serious liking to him. Jimmy who? What was that tight end's name before in New Orleans? Watson has better numbers than whoever that guy was year to date.
That the same tight end that's in Seattle now that's not really
Maybe. We don't hear his name very often.
Gotcha. Dez Bryant, good game. Jason Witten, not so much this week?
Eagles are great against tight ends. You know, Ben Watson's the only one that scored a touchdown against them, but who could stop Ben Watson? But I think you look at Witten, you know, was okay against them in their first matchup in week 2. I don't see him having more than 6 or 7 fantasy points tops. He's only scored once on the season. It was against the Giants in week 1. Since then, no touchdowns for him. So going to be a disappointing game for Witten. A lot of better tight ends. Jacob Tamme should be better than Heath Miller. A lot of these guys have better ceiling than Jason Witten.
That's who we're starting and sitting for week 9. The full column is available on CBSSports.com.